So I just finished the book, The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, and he talks about how when you surrender to the flow of life, the natural flow, or the universal force that guides your life, these miraculous things just begin to happen to you. So essentially what Michael Singer started doing, he decided to just surrender to life, essentially. He would be presented with these large tasks like helping build a house or starting a new business that he kind of had no experience in. Things like that were presented to him suddenly, and he would have said no, but because he decided to surrender to what life has presented to him and just say yes to things, essentially releasing all form and outcome, his life just miraculously transformed, and these amazing things started to happen in his life. And so as I was reading this, I was thinking, if the flow of life can be surrendered to, you can also surrender to where your intuition pulls you, where your intuition draws you. There's a certain thing when you're supposed to go somewhere or supposed to be somewhere, supposed to be guided somewhere. Your intuition is a guiding force. Often it's influenced by your guides, actually, because they give you messages and insights and downloads, visions, all this kind of stuff. So your guides are part of your intuition, but your intuition is a naturally guiding force or guiding energy in the spiritual realms of your life. And this is what some people call the gut feeling, right? Like I walked into the dark alley and felt this feeling in my gut, so I turned back. Maybe if they'd kept walking, they would have been assaulted or robbed or that kind of thing. Intuition is the gut feeling that you can feel sometimes. So you can surrender to life, the flow of life, the things that life places in front of you. But you can also surrender to the draw of your intuition and just choose to follow it. Choose to follow the draw rather than ignoring it or thinking lowly of this intuitive draw that might come upon you. Essentially, as I was reading the book and as I got that idea of surrendering to the flow of your intuition, I was essentially guided by my intuition to go to a meditation group. Because in the book, in The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, he himself gets into spirituality, meditation, so he's meditating for hours a day. And so he frequently mentions the book Autobiography of a Yogi by Yogananda. And so I find the meditation group under Yogananda's organization that's close to me, and it's like a 10-minute drive, so there it is. And I find out they have a service the next day and everything, a 2-hour kind of meditation prayer kind of thing. And so I felt that draw, right? I felt the urge to look into this, to research, and so I followed it, and I found out that there was a service the next day. And so naturally, I just went there the next day. Even though, here's the thing, I was nervous to go to this meditation thing, this meditation group, because I had never been to one of them before. I didn't really know what to expect. There was a few photos on Google of the inside of the meditation group room and everything. It looked good, but I didn't really know what to expect. So despite my fears and despite my resistance, I was having resistful thoughts, of course. But the draw of my intuition, the strong draw that guides you places, it was overpowering my resistive thoughts, like, oh no, it's going to be weird, I shouldn't go, there's going to be too many people there already, it's not really my thing, but I went anyway. Because it was an opportunity gifted to me by life, and also gifted to me by my intuition and my guides or spirit team or the universe. And sometimes it's true that there will be a kind of intuitive draw that you have somewhere. Maybe, okay, I'm going to go to this, dinner with this group of people. You kind of get this draw to go there, but then for some reason something changes in your mind. You get another download or intuition that's like, oh no, maybe don't go there today. Maybe don't go to that dinner tonight. Maybe don't go down to the beach today. And that's fine. That's sometimes our intuition working for us. Maybe we're not meant to go there. Maybe it's not meant for us at that time. But if the pull is strong, if your intuition's pull is keeps, hammering away at you, I say to follow it and be grateful for that intuition. And so I ended up at this meditation group, and the meditation was an interesting experience. And it was kind of tied to the Yogananda's organization and that kind of thing. And they read some prayers and we did some chanting. But I kind of found out that it wasn't really my thing. I do enjoy meditation a lot, but I just found out the organizational aspect thing, it wasn't really for me. And that's okay. But the only way that I would have found out is if I had gone there. And so I'm glad that I did, and found out that this kind of thing wasn't really my cup of tea. So I got home and I just meditated on my own afterwards. And I met some nice people there, though. I met some nice, spiritual, like-minded people, which I highly appreciate. But I followed the draw of my intuition, and this led to other things, right? I showed up at that meditation group not expecting what was to happen. I found out it didn't really resonate with me, but now I'm reading Yogananda's book as a result of going to that meditation group, because my intuition pulled me there, being inspired by what I saw there, and getting more into his material. And this book is really profound. It sparked a huge interest for me in meditation and yoga and the kind of Indian spirituality. So this is sometimes what happens when we follow our intuition somewhere, and it's not necessarily as an experience we resonate with or something that was enjoyable for us, but it's like a stepping stone. These things that we're drawn to can be like a stepping stone to get to another thing. And for me, this stepping stone was the meditation group. The first stone that I was standing on was the book, The Surrender Experiment, which mentioned Yogananda in his book. And then the middle stepping stone was the meditation group, which inspired me to read Yogananda's book. And now the stone I'm standing on is the one where I'm reading his book and getting these massive hits of inspiration and wisdom that he provides in the book. So sometimes these experiences aren't necessarily true to our soul, true to our being, but they're stepping stones that we get drawn to by the nature of our intuition, the nature of life. These paths in life are not always clear, right? It wasn't maybe so clear that I was going to end up reading Yogananda's book until after I had gone to the meditation group. Sometimes to get to one thing, you need to go through another path first before you're ready for that other thing. Sometimes it's a kind of gradual build-up that we're guided through by our intuition and by the forces of life. And so when we surrender to these forces, the first, like Michael Singer said, the flow of life, the power of the universal force that guides your life, when you just accept these circumstances or things that are placed before you and you go with the flow essentially, and then also just follow that draw of intuition. It's like a power combo. It's a power combo for the direction and growth in your life and in your spiritual journey especially. And so it's nice to just relax. You can essentially relax once these two things have been put into effect in your life. Once you start practicing these two things, surrendering to the flow of life and then also just accepting the draw of your intuition, kind of floating along with your intuition, you can relax. It's like you can just take a deep breath and trust in these incredibly powerful metaphysical forces that guide you through your journey, that guide you through your life. This stuff is powerful beyond our comprehension, right? This stuff it's been guiding us through all our lives, all our incarnations, even time in the spirit world. And so when we accept it, we see these miraculous changes occurring, like Michael Singer did with his, huge growth of his business into multi-billion dollar business and all this sort of stuff that happened, synchronously, just because he accepted the flow of life and essentially started saying yes to all these opportunities rather than resisting and saying no, because life was placing these things in front of him as opportunities for growth on his journey, even though some of the things didn't necessarily resonate with him. Sometimes they were stepping stones or things that would lead to other things that brought miraculous change. It's wonderful to follow just these intuitive draws that we have and surrender to the flow of life and the power that life has. It knows what's best for us. It's guiding us along with our spirit team, universe. But life is guiding us to where we need to be. And so when we're not resisting, when we're essentially floating down the path of life, stuff just becomes easier. And so don't worry if you make a wrong decision too. In my eyes, there's no real wrong decision. It's just that you made that choice, and that's part of your life. It's part of your journey. And you'll end up where you're meant to end up. Everything works out the way it's meant to. And so just trust in the flow of life. Trust in your intuition. Feel into your third eye and just trust your intuition and follow your heart.